Good morning once again. My name is Bisi Roland from Post-Service Department, Office of the Head of Service. I welcome everyone once again to our webinar. And our topic today is growing your own wealth, simple and cost-effective home farming. I know that we've done lots of backyard farming sessions, but I'm very, very sure today is going to be a different one because we're going to talk about the alternate feeding for the tilapias and catfish. But before we go on, I'd like to acknowledge the former head of service and the former secretary to the state government, Mrs. Folashade Jaji. Good morning, Ma. You've been very consistent on our webinar. We really appreciate your presence, Ma. The head of service, Mr. Guru, won't be able to join us today because we're having the public service week this week, so he's busy with that. And also the permanent secretary, public service office, Mrs. Sukomi Oyebola. She too won't, she's unavoidably absent today. And my director, Mrs. Durodola, she's attending the program too. So I'm going to be your host today, and I believe we would all have a wonderful session, and I encourage everyone to please listen attentively and take notes and definitely ask questions when we are done. Our facilitator for today is Mrs. Oluwatomi Olatoye. She has in-depth knowledge on home farming. So I'll just quickly take her profile. She's a social entrepreneur, urban agricultural influencer, and health coach. She's the managing director of Green Gold Foods and Beverages Limited, and she's the founder of the Urban Agriculture School in Ibadan. She holds a degree in geography from the University of Ibadan, and she has a master's degree in agricultural geography from the University of Lagos. Mrs. Olatoye is a certified naturopath, and she was awarded a scholarship to study at Wageningen University in the Netherlands. She completed her DBN Pan-African University program on business growth and development. Her leadership roles include founding the Hope Alive Training Academy, Urban Agriculture School, and the Africa Women in Business and Ministry Multipurpose Cooperative and Network. She has served as the head of women in food and agriculture in Ondo State under the Ondo State Agricultural Commodities Association. Mrs. Olatoye has initiated several impactful projects, which include the Obe project. And this project encouraged women to grow the ingredients that they need for soup. An alternative feed program for catfish, the food always in the home garden concept, and the Joseph Storehouse project, which focuses on training in post-harvest processing. She has over 15 years of experience in urban agriculture, household food security, and healthy living. She is a co-facilitator at Faith-Driven Entrepreneurial Global, and she's a member of CHE Global. She's an urban agricultural facilitator with the Enterprise Development Unit at Lead City University and Dominican University in Ibadan. Wow. She's really into home farming. Mrs. Olatoye, over to you, ma. Would you please unmute yourself?
Okay, I've done that. Good morning, Mrs. Roland. Thank you very much for the introduction. I would like to say good morning to everyone in the house. I'm so glad and excited to be here. Yeah. Can I go on? Order.
Yes, go on. Good morning, madam.
Okay. Just like Mrs. Roland said, my name is Olatoye. I'm an urban Greek farmer. And I've been doing that for the past 20 years, teaching urban people on how to grow food. So today I'll be focusing on, I just want to say welcome to everyone in the house, all the mommies and daddies in the house. You're welcome to this session, and I'm trusting that it's going to be an impactful session and a very practical session. So I'm going to have about 20 minutes to discuss about catfish and tilapia. Then we'll move to the comment and question sessions. Once again, I want to say thank you to the management for inviting me to do this. I'm excited. I'm talking to retirees because I know that one day I'll become one. Despite the fact that I'm not working with the government, but I know that one day I will retire, I'll stop what I'm doing and hand over to somebody else to do it. But in the meantime that we are still active, we can still learn from one another. So today I'm talking about something that is passionate to my heart. I'm talking about fish. Over the years, you can see that the protein intake of Nigerians is dropping daily. People eat without protein now. It's not even a luxury again to have 2 pieces of meat in your plate, and you said you want to eat. It's not even common. You know, when we were growing up, we put about 10 meats in the bowl. Daddy would take 2, mommy would take 2. The children can take it. Mommy, can I take another one? You know, but now it's not common again. The protein intake of Nigerians are dropping, and the cost of raising protein, the cost of raising animals is getting expensive every day. It became a real concern to me because I started my agricultural journey with gardening, growing vegetables when we were in Lagos. I was growing vegetables in Ebute-Metta. We moved from Ebute-Metta to Ibeju-Lekki. I moved all my vegetables to Ibeju-Lekki, and I also had a small snail farm and also a small container that was using to raise catfish. At that time, I didn't even know anything about catfish. I just know that catfish can grow. They eat anything. I don't know the feed, the type of food they eat. So I was just giving them things around me. I will go to Igbo, I'll buy crayfish. Anytime it's raining, I'll go outside. You know, at that time I was still young. I didn't have kids, so I could play around. So I was picking earthworm. I was giving them. What else? Intestine of chicken at home, and they were growing. At the end of it, I started with 30, and I was able to harvest 8 out of the 30. And I stopped of course, after that, we harvested the 8 and we ate it. But all the while when I was doing that, I was also learning. And that's the beauty of urban agriculture. Anything you are doing in your backyard, you are doing it and you're also learning because your farm is so close to you. So you have the luxury of going to your garden or to your farm every day because it's within you. It's around you. It's in your backyard. So also when I was raising the fish, the catfish, I was raising them so that we can eat. And I was also learning. So some of the things I'm going to share with you today is because of some of the things I've learned. And I always tell people that my journey in catfish farming, I started from a big container to a concrete tank. From concrete tank, I moved to a tarpaulin tank. From tarpaulin tank, and I have earthen ponds. So I have earthen ponds because I shuttle between Ibadan and Akure. I have 6 earthen ponds in Akure. And I have tarpaulin pond here, and I also do I'm still doing research on catfish. So I know that majority of us are into catfish. Some of us have started, some of us have not started. And I know that today's presentation will encourage us to do something about it. Like I said before, the protein intake of Nigeria is dropping on a daily basis. People cannot afford to buy catfish. Catfish is a luxury. Some people have even tagged catfish as food for the elite because of the price. It's expensive. The last time we sold feed on my farm, we sold a kg for 2,700. And people, when buyers come like that, they buy and they go and resell. So we sell per kg and they resell. And I know how much I spent on feed. It got to a stage I was angry. I was angry with all the people working for me because anytime I see their phone call, what they're asking me is money. But let's see how we can solve that problem. So the next slide, Ma. Please, can I ask this next slide? So we are going to focus our attention today on catfish and tilapia. But I'm going to really do a lot of exposition on tilapia because tilapia has a lot of potential and is still untapped. Majority of the fish farmers are doing catfish. Yes, catfish grows faster. When you are feeding catfish, you see it, you are encouraged to grow catfish, but the cost of growing catfish is getting higher by the day. When it comes to market, when we get to market, we'll analyze, we'll look at the difference between catfish and tilapia. But let's look at how we can raise catfish without crying. Let me use that word because I remember last year I actually cried because all the money I'm supposed to use for other things I was using there for feed. But when I sold, I made my money back, but it was really a very tight budget. So my second slide talks about aquaculture. Aquaculture, I just defined aquaculture. The aquaculture is act of raising things in water. Anything that's in water. Aqua means water. Culture means you are raising them. So when you are starting your fish farming, there's one question that you must answer. The first question is, am I raising feed for commercial purpose or for personal consumption? That's very, very important. You must be able to raise that. Some are raising catfish purely for commercial. Some are raising catfish of tilapia mainly for personal consumption. Some are raising for both.
Mrs. Olatoye,
Yes,
sorry to interrupt. Please, I
okay.
would have to log out and log in. My network is very unstable. So you can please go on because I know that the slides are not showing. Or can you see
Okay,
it?
I can go on without the slide. I can go on without the slide.
Okay. So please, I'll log out and log in to connect to another network.
Okay.
All right, you can go on, ma. Thank you.
Thank you. So the first question as a fish farmer is to ask yourself, am I going for commercial or personal consumption or for both? If you are doing for both, fine. Of course, there's no way you raise catfish and you eat out of it. so if you are going, but you must be able to define if you are doing commercial and because some of the alternatives that I'm going to be sharing with us might not be 100% effective if you are doing for commercial in the sense that if you have like 5,000 catfish or 20,000 catfish, you need volume of the alternative feeds to feed them. But we can start from somewhere. Knowledge will help us to think. When it comes to agriculture, I always like us to be innovative. Personally, I don't like to follow the crowd. My farm manager will always tell me that, mommy, is only feed that can use to feed catfish. And we're always fighting that it's not only feed. There are other alternatives. And thank God I got somebody that could think with me and we are using the alternative. So the first thing is identify. Once you be able to identify that I want to do it for commercial, then it's a business. If it's going to be commercial, that means a business. And when you are running a business, you also need funds to run that business. And another thing that I want you to consider is, am I emotionally stable to do catfish? Am I emotionally stable to invest my money in aquaculture? Because when it comes to catfish, you spend a lot of money. And it doesn't mean that after you have spent a lot of money, there are no challenges. There are challenges. Like 2 months ago, I have on my farm, I have catfish, and I also have 3 types of tilapia. I have the red tilapia, I have the blue tilapia, and I have the gray one. And we're raising them. And the middle of the night, one of my staff called me that, Mommy, there's a problem on the farm. Because I was far away in Lagos. There was no way I could solve the problem. I told her to get across to the manager, and she did not, because they had issues. They had personal issues. So she didn't want to talk to the manager. And they left the pond unattended to. Within 2 days, all the tilapia, all the red and the gray tilapia stocked in a particular pond, they all died. All of them. I even have a video. They sent the video to me. They counted it. All of them gone. So there are also challenges. So you must be able to ask yourself, am I ready to face challenges in aquaculture? I remember there was a night in where I have my farm in Akure. There are other catfish farmers. And one night it rained, and almost two ponds of with matured catfish, they were washed away. Those are challenges, but every business has challenges. So it's not only those challenges are not limited to catfish. But the reason I'm saying is you must be able to prepare yourself. Am I ready for challenges? When they called me that I lost all my red and gray tilapia died in a pond, what I wanted to get, but I just remembered, okay, out of 6 months, one, I'm still okay with 5. Did they have babies? They have given us babies over the years, so I'm not bothered. So I just said, oh, it's okay, please, let's move on. So I moved on. So so you must be able to define commercial and personal. So if it's personal consumption, you can have it in tarpaulin in your compound, you can have it in a concrete tank, you can have it in plastic, a storage tank, and you continue feeding them with whatever is available to them. Then let's look at I know the benefits of farming catfish and tilapia. It's open to all of us: income for household, food for household, employment opportunity, way of relaxing. I always like to have fish in my compound. I always like, because the act of feeding them, that's what I enjoy most. There are times I travel from Ibadan to Akure. I stay there for 1 week because I just want to feed the fish. It's a way of relaxation. Then it also we are doing catfish because to increase protein intake and promote healthy diet. Yes, when people have access to protein, their health status will be improved. So let's look at okay, let me jump to common species of tilapia. I know a lot of us are familiar with catfish, but let's look at these 3. There are other types. There are several types of species of tilapia, but these ones are common: the red tilapia, the blue tilapia, and the black tilapia. I have all these 3 on my farm, and I know that I know the blue one is not so common. I can in Ondo State, I think we are just 3 of us that have the blue tilapia. Tilapia are herbivores. They eat more of plants. So the cost of raising tilapia it's minimal compared to catfish. For catfish, for you to raise one catfish from juvenile to adulthood within 4 months, you need about 1 kg feed to do that. There are times now it's even 1.5 kg of feed to feed them, and that's a lot of money. I remember the last time we did a project for somebody, we were able to raise 1,000 catfish, and we used 67 bags. Just multiply 67 bags, maybe on the average 30,000. That's a lot of money. So, but tilapia, they are plant eaters. They eat whatever they see around. That's why I always tell people that tilapia grows faster in natural ponds. They grow faster because even if you are not feeding them, they have things that they are picking up in the soil. They eat worms, they eat plants, they eat a lot. Like in our pond in Akure, we give them a lot of pawpaw. we give them pawpaw leaves, we give them mulberry leaves, I give them bitter leaf, we give them moringa, fresh and dried ones. And we also supplement with catfish feed, because really now we don't have standard commercial tilapia feeds. We don't have. There are so many formulas online, and nobody has been able to come together to do, or of course there are pockets of people doing tilapia feed, but there are no standard commercial tilapia feed. So people are using what they see, and most of the time we feed them with tilapia, catfish feed, and also supplement with natural things. But because they are herbivores, they tend to eat more of plants. So even if you cannot afford to buy catfish feed for them, just give them the herbs around you. Just give them the plants around. They eat pawpaw, they eat cabbage, they eat mulberry, all the leaves. Just put them there, and they are eating it. So I'm going to talk about 2 aquatic plants that I've been able to introduce to my tilapia. And the first one is Azolla. Some of us might know Azolla and Wolfia. I have Azolla and Wolfia on the farm. Catfish will eat 100%. They will eat Azolla without, even if you don't give them anything, they enjoy Azolla. They enjoy Wolfia. So if that's the only thing that you have, and they are in the natural pond or in a tank, they will eat it. But you need volume of Wolfia and Azolla daily to feed your tilapia. And the aquatic plants, they grow very fast. I remember the first time I came across Azolla and Wolfia, we bought some and we stocked the pond, and we put almost 20 kg of Azolla in the pond. I thought, because the person that I bought it from said, okay, the Azolla will be growing and the fish will be eating it. Within 2 days, I got back to the farm. I didn't see anything on top of the farm because they have eaten everything. So later, we now decided that no, we won't do that. We dedicated a pond, 1 pond, to grow Azolla and Wolfia on the farm. So when you get to that farm, there's no fish in the pond. Everything in that pond is Wolfia and Azolla. So on a daily basis, my staff will just harvest, scoop Wolfia and Azolla and give the tilapia, and they are eating. That's what we are using to feed the tilapia. And tilapia are prolific breeders. They lay a lot of eggs, and they raise a lot of baby tilapia within 2-3 months. Tilapia lay eggs, give back to young ones within 2 or 3 months, every 2 or 3 months. So you can see that if I have 100 female tilapia in my pond, every 2 months, I'll be having babies. So we realized that on the pond, we have so much tilapia in 1 pond that they were not even growing, because they are competing with the food that we are giving them. So we decided that, okay, what we are going to be doing now, we'll scoop baby tilapia. Catfish will eat baby tilapia, because at that time, their fins are not well established, their scales are not well established. So we'll scoop the baby tilapia and give catfish. I've stocked catfish in my pond now. I've not bought 10 bags of feed. I have about 2,000 on the pond. I've not bought 10 bags, because in the morning, they feed them with Azolla and Wolfia. In the afternoon, we give them their normal feed. So instead of giving, I'm just using that example, instead of feeding a pond with 2 kg, we are feeding that pond with 1 kg. In the evening, we'll now scoop baby tilapia and give them. So I'm not under pressure. Even at times when there's no money, I just say, please give them tilapia. So you can use baby tilapia to supplement feed for catfish. Because even if you don't do that, your tilapia will grow. They will be so much in the pond that they will not grow big. Because you are not doing monosex tilapia farm. There's what we call monosex tilapia farm. But in a situation where you have male and female tilapia in a pond, they will just be giving out back to babies. And before you know it, the whole pond will be filled up, that they will not even grow big again. So instead of allowing that to happen, scoop the babies and give it to tilapia and give to catfish. So we are doing that. Then for the Azolla too, we know we have a separate pond for Azolla and Wolfia. So daily we also scoop Azolla and Wolfia and give catfish and also give tilapia. So with that, we've been able to reduce feeding of catfish. The another thing, we have tried so many things. There was a time I was buying a BSF, black soldier fly. The maggot from BSF is also very good. It's almost 80% protein. It fattens, it makes your catfish grow very fast because it has a lot of protein. And catfish, they are carnivores. They require a lot of protein for them to really grow, because when it comes to catfish farming, it's weight that everybody is after. The buyer is after the weight and the seller is also after the weight. So you must do something about the growth of your catfish. So there was a time we were buying BSF and giving them. Well, it's cheaper. I think at that time we were buying 1 kg for it. Is it on 800 naira? So that times we buy 30 kg, 40 kg, and we give them. But the challenge in BSF is the people producing BSF, the demand is more than production, because it's labor intensive. BSF is a big business on its own. Like I always tell farmers, some of my farmers, I say, some of you can also concentrate on BSF alone and supply farmers. Not that the farmer will be raising fish, you will also be doing BSF. Yes, because BSF is labor intensive, but it's a big business, untapped business. So people have fund, people have a lot of money, can invest in BSF and produce maggot for fish farmers. You can also have BSF, the maggot from BSF in dried form. I remember IITA, they train people on BSF, and they also dry the BSF and sell. I think the dried one is 1,000 per kg. Your fish will also grow very fast and big eating BSF, but the volume of BSF that you need is massive. And we don't have production, is still very low compared to demand. So if you are not using, and we have used BSF before, when it was not sustainable in the sense that our suppliers were not supplying us regularly, so we had to stop. Then another thing along the line, we farmers, we talk and we always tell people, let's invent things. Let's do things outside the box. So there was a time in our small tarpaulin pond in Ibadan, I bought like 100 catfish and I bought the feed. And it just occurred to me that, I always tell people that your backyard farm is also your research, because as you are feeding them, you're also learning. So anything I bring to my compound, I also want to learn and do a research on them. So I decided to separate about 4 or 5 fingerlings of the tilapia in a small bowl, and we left some in another bowl, and we're feeding some. We had 10 4, and we were feeding them with the 10. We were feeding them with feed, and the 4 we were feeding them with earthworms. Ma and Sa, the result in 1 month is not even comparable, because I thought that, okay, maybe the ones we are feeding out of just go a little bit, then we'll not put all of them together. If we couldn't put them together, because the ones we are feeding that fed on earthworm, they were 10 times bigger. If you put them together, they will eat the small ones. In 1 month, those ones, they are almost about 250 grams, and the little ones that we bought are just about 100 and 120 grams. And it just occurred to me that earthworm is fantastic. Earthworm has nitrogen. It's the nitrogen in the earthworm that is boosting the growth of the catfish. But another question that all of us will be asking now, when I'm talking about earthworm, is volume. It's always about volume. But I always tell people, don't let us use volume to say it's not possible. It's possible. That's why I asked at the beginning of the class, if you are growing earthworm for personal use, you might not buy feed. Maybe you want to eat it, you are not doing competition with anybody. You are not after 1 kg. By the time your fish are 300 grams, 500 grams, they can eat it, and they can reach 400, 500 as long as you want them to. Maybe 4 months, 5 months, you are not in competition with anybody. You don't want to, okay, in 4 months, I want my money back. So you can use that. Earthworm is excellent for catfish. And the question is, how do we grow earthworm? How do I raise platform? I know that maybe because our time is limited, maybe later we'll talk about Grow Platform. But what we are doing now is we have a farm. So my manager, what he does, I know it's laborious, I know it's it's not easy. He picks earthworm. So we have a bin, we have an earthworm bin. We pick them and put them in the bin. The bin must be in a cool environment. There must be soil, there must be dry matters there. And when you drop your earthworm there, they remain there, they give birth. And before you know it, if you put 10 earthworm in a bin, before you know it, within 2-3 months, when you go there, you see loads of earthworm. So that's what we are doing now at the side. Then if you are not doing earthworm, because you can also do tadpole.
The speaker is not working again.
Okay. I'll soon be rounding up. We can also do tadpole. Tadpole is young ones of frog and frog. I have not started the tadpole thing, but I have a friend that is doing tadpole. He dedicated the pond and he went to pick. He opened up the pond and he allowed toads and frog to go inside the pond. And he now covered it back with nets. So what you do, regularly, we just harvest the tadpole and give it tilapia. Once a week, we just harvest, and so we can also do that. We can also create a pond for our frog to lay eggs. I know these things, it's all the things I've mentioned, it will be very easy if we are using natural pond. But if you are not using natural pond, we can just start gradually in our backyard and we scale up. All these things will help us to reduce cost. And when you are selling, because you have been able to manage your own cost, you still sell at the market price. So when two farmers are coming to the market, their own cost might be higher than yours, but you're still selling at the same price. So more profit for you. So that's why we have to consider the alternative feed for our catfish so that we can earn more and let it be all the alternative feed, they are sustainable. They are sustainable, really. We can start gradually and scale up. I know when BSF, black soldier fly, technology came in, people were skeptical, but I know that some people are already doing it full time. I have a friend in Akure that's what he does full time, and he also have a dryer. After producing the maggot, he will dry them, but at the same time, the volume is not enough for fish farmers in his locality. So these are the major alternative feeds that we can use to feed our catfish. And you can also make money from the alternative feeds. Like right now on the farm, we sell azola, we sell wolfia to other farmers, we sell baby tilapia, we sell adult tilapia to other farmers. So you can also make, as you are using them to feed your fish, you're also making money from the alternative feed. Okay. Thank you. Am I communicating? Please feedback, please.
You are communicating.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Yes, ma. Yes, ma. We are enjoying it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I said maybe I'm the only one in the house.
You are not.
How can we get the baby
We are
tilapia?
quiet because we are assimilating.
How do I get the baby tilapia?
Okay, question. Let's have questions so that we can discuss. Questions, ma. Questions, sirs. Questions, ma. The questions can come in. Then from the questions, we're able to discuss more.
Hello, everyone. My network had some issues. Okay. Before we take our questions and the facilitator answers, let me just quickly take a short, very, very quick rundown, but I'm sure we all understood everything she said, but I'll just take a recap of all she said. So once again, our topic, which is growing your own wealth, simple and cost-effective home farming, tilapia and catfish. The objective basically was is just to let us know how to set up a very cost-effective home farming system. And for those of us that have started, I'm sure we know that it requires minimal space, which we can do at home. And it's quite, although not so cheap, but the investment is quite low. And she talked about the benefits of doing this. It's physically and mentally engaging for the retirees, and we will enjoy a sense of independence, by producing your own food. She also talked about how easy it is to farm tilapia. She mentioned the types, that there are 3 types: red, blue, and black. And apart from the known food feeds, the fish feeds that we all know that are common in the market, tilapia can be fed different kinds of foods, such as fruits, cottonseed, peanuts, leaves, sweet potato, sugar cane, and pawpaw. And it takes 2-3 months to grow fully. She then talked about catfishing, which is fast growing too, and it can be found in small tanks. And it's known for its high demand in the market. Then it's okay. She didn't really talk about the how we can set it up, the things we would need, but the step-by-step guides are basically, you have a fish pond, or if you have an open space, you put tarpaulin or something like that in the space, and you can, put water, get your pipes to fill the water, to fill the pond, and things like that. Okay. So for our questions, you can ask your questions in the chat box, and you can raise your hand if you have any questions. Okay, we have someone who has raised the hands already. Samsung SMA, you can please unmute yourself and ask your question. Can everyone hear me, please?
Yes, we can. Can hear you.
So please can, okay, well, in the chat box, someone said that there are just 2 types of tilapia she knows. Kike Lomo's iPhone. That there are just 2 types of tilapia she knows. Ikuya and Wesafu. I hope I got that right in Yoruba. And which of these species is the good? Which one is better in the artificial pond? So, Ma, can you kindly take that?
Okay. Tilapia, basically they have the same characteristics, the same biological development, the same everything. They eat just the color, maybe the gene, maybe some, we have some hybrid tilapia. We have what we call the gift tilapia. Gift tilapia is improved variety. So the improved variety grow very fast, faster than the normal local tilapia that we know when we were growing up. Then the red tilapia, is also an improved variety, and it grows very fast. That one, they are very strong. We have sent red tilapia from here to Togo before and didn't die. Unlike the black one, of course, within 2-3 hours, if you don't handle them, you might lose them. But the red one, I've studied them over time, I've been working on the red one for over 2 years, and I know they are very strong. So, and they also grow very fast. Though I don't know whether it's a puya, I don't know the local names, but I know that those varieties that we have, they are improved one. Like the blue tilapia, the person that gave us actually imported it from Thailand. Imported so few of us, and the man didn't want to sell to anybody. But of course, because of the kind of work I do, I told him I want to do some personal research on it. So the blue, what I noticed about the blue tilapia, they are very strong and they lay a lot of eggs. They lay a lot of eggs compared to the other ones. But in summary, tilapia will reach maturity like 400, 500 grams in 6 to 8 months, depending on your management system and your water quality. Tilapia likes clean water. So people will say, how often should we change water when I'm going tilapia? As long as the water is clear, you don't need to change. If the water is not clear, especially if you're using a mobile pond, you need to change water. So you need water for you to run your aquaculture business. What fish farming is all about water. Even I have because I also run Athens pond. I have a stream beside all my ponds. So regularly, once a week, we allow fresh water to come in and to displace the dirty water. So your tilapia will grow faster when the water quality is good and they are feeding well. I hope I've been able to answer that. How and where can we get a source for? We have tilapia. We sell different types and different sizes. We want to buy, but if you don't want to buy, because we will be transporting from Lagos, from Akure to Lagos. But if you don't want to buy, I know there are also tilapia farmers in Lagos. But we'll appreciate if you buy from us. Okay.
Okay. There's another one.
Okay, ma. Yes, go ahead.
There is this impression that it is fatty. That is catfish, and that it's not good for adults. Can you please clarify that?
That's true. The oil in catfish is higher than tilapia. And I know that a lot of people who consume catfish, they always have an issue of high blood pressure. Not so loud. An issue of high cholesterol. Let me not say high cholesterol. I have a friend, the guy is so slim and he didn't have issues for almost 10 years. And when he got to me, I said he should go and do a test. He did a test and he said he has high cholesterol and is affecting his sperm and all that. So I now called, I said, you're not fat. You know, most times when you hear about high cholesterol, do you think as well maybe the person is fat? So I said, you are very slim. Now, what's your problem? What's your lifestyle like? What do you eat? He said, I eat catfish every day. I said, okay, no problem. I said, what we're going to do, can we do something about your cholesterol level? So I recommended some few things for him. Within 2 months, and I said, you stop your catfish for now. The cholesterol level reduced, and the wife was able to conceive, and they have about 2 kids now. Why am I the cholesterol, the fat in catfish is high, and the skin of catfish absorbs toxin too. So most time I like catfish too. I like it. So I won't lie to you. I won't say don't take it. So what I do is anytime I eat catfish, I make sure I eat a lot of vegetables and a lot of all my spices are natural spices. I don't add Maggi, I don't add ajinomoto, I don't add all those things. I use natural things to cook. So that will also decrease the effect that the cholesterol will have on me. But if you don't take it regularly, it's not a problem.
Okay. All right. There's another one. How many pieces can someone start with? And the cost if you are to supply?
Okay, are you talking about catfish or tilapia?
Well, the person didn't specify.
Okay.
Infinix X70 is.
Okay.
But you can talk about the two then, since there was no.
For catfish, we don't do the babies because there are some professionals that they do archery. They have archery where they raise catfish. So when you go online or you have farmers around, you can be able to buy from them. If you are starting, if you are a starter, don't let any consultant tell you that if you stock 2,000 catfish, you are going to make this money. Because when they tell you those figures, they won't tell you how much you are going to spend on it. Yes, I remember I visited a PS, a former PS in Commerce in Ondo State. He took me to his farm. You see the facility on that farm, and he stocked 10,000 fingerlings. The man told me that within 10 days, there was no money to buy feed again.
Wow.
So when he was telling me, I said, sir, he said the man told him, the consultant said, if you buy 10,000, you are going to sell 9,000 in 3 months. And he gave him the figures. So the man saw the figure, he saw the revenue, he said, this is great, I want this one. He didn't tell the man that you are going to spend almost 80% of your sales on feed. So the man didn't plan for feed.
Oh,
So
okay. It
when,
doesn't have specified that it's tilapia.
okay, the person is talking exactly about tilapia.
Tilapia, yes.
So for small scale, please don't do for catfish. 100 is fine for you because you can manage that 100. You'll be able to observe if you are a starter. Don't do, and you want to do a backyard thing. But if you want to invest, honestly, if you want to invest, what is important, you know the cost implication. How much am I going to spend on feed? If you have an idea, because if you have an idea of how much you are going to spend on feed, then you can actually put the money of feed down. I have a younger brother in UK that has a farm that we are managing for him. What he does, we will do the calculation on the feed, and he will send money and will stock the feed from day one. Because feed is increasing every day. We bought a bag of Blue Crown, 27,000. Yesterday when we bought it was 32,000. So you must have an idea of the cost implication. If you are okay with the cost implication, fine. Don't say money will come along the way. Fish will not wait. Catfish is about weight. If they are not eating, they are losing weight. They are not like tilapia. Tilapia might not lose weight, might just be pretty as tilapia is. So I will encourage you, if you are a starter, start with 100, 500, that's fine for you. For tilapia, you can do 100, you can do 200, you can do 300. But at the same time, you must be sure that you have water for tilapia. You must have water around the year because you need to change water regularly.
Okay, thank you. Samsung SM, can you please unmute yourself? Because you've been raising your hand for a while and I've asked you to unmute yourself. Okay, well, someone asked how or where can we get this or source for tilapia? So apart from you, Ma, is it common? Is it easy to get in the open market?
The baby tilapia, yes. I know I've come across a lot of farmers online. Usually, I think there are a lot of them in Badagry. Yes, there are a lot of them doing tilapia in Badagry. So you can just Google and get in touch with them.
Okay. Can different species of tilapia be raised in the same pond?
Yes. Well, in our pond, we have the blue and the red together. I'm just trying to see whether they can mate. That's why I put them together. Though the person that gave me didn't like it. Is a professor that gave me and was like, told me, what's that? What kind of rubbish is that? I said, Daddy, let's try it. So you can actually put them together because they eat the same thing, they enjoy the same lifestyle.
Okay. So you're doing trial and error. Okay, another one. Can one use borehole water for the pond? Borehole water. Hello, Ma, did you get that? Hello, Ms. Alatoye, can you hear me?
Maybe she's been cut off.
Hello, Ms.
But I've
Alatoye.
noticed that we are
Okay.
seeing, but
Hello, ma, are you still there? Uh-oh. Okay, I think we've lost her.
Oh, I'm still
Hel-
alive.
Oh, sorry. I couldn't hear you for a minute.
Yeah, I think something, I don't know. I just realized that I've been off, but I'm back. So you can mix them together. But if you are doing commercial, I will encourage you to separate. So if you are selling pink tilapia, you know this one has pink. If you are selling blue, you know this one has blue. So you can do that.
Okay, Mrs. Ahmed Ogundikbe, her question is, what is Azola Wofa in Yoruba? And how can we get it in Lagos?
They don't have Yoruba name, they're just they are plants that is grown everywhere in the world. It's not native to Nigeria, and I'm sure it's even actually imported to Nigeria, but they're growing well here. Azola can be transported from here to anywhere, so you don't have problem buying Azola from us. We sell Azola, we sell in a bowl. That bowl is just 5,000 naira. Once you buy the bowl and you put it in your whatever, your pond or your tank, just make sure the water is fertilized and it keeps growing. Your 5,000 Azola, you don't need to buy again if you take care of them. You might not buy Azola in the next 10 years if you take care of them. But if you don't take care of them, you might lose them and you keep buying. You have to rebuy. You have to buy again. So with just 5,000 naira, you can stock your Azola in your pond and they will multiply. They multiply every 48 hours.
Wow.
And we can also read about Azola and Wofia. A lot of East African farmers are already using Azola. Azola is good for poultry, it's good for pig, it's good for all your animals. So when you have Azola, you can give your pig, you can give your poultry, you can give your turkey, they all eat Azola and Wofia.
All right, ma. Thank you for that. Another question. I wish to start this business. Please, what are the required steps?
The required step, there are two ways of raising catfish. Either you are using natural pond or artificial. Artificial are the concrete tank, the mobile, the tarpaulin tanks, and your storage tank. So depending on what you have, if you have a land that has water, that is waterlogged, fantastic for you. Just go there, get people that will dig the pond for you. They will dig the pond, they will lime it, they will treat the pond, and they will fertilize the pond, and they will cover the pond with a net so that enemies of fish will not come in and eat it, like snake and toad and frog will not come and eat your fish. And you go and buy your fingerlings or juvenile from a reputable farmer. Your source of catfish fingerlings are very, very important. If you buy from a quack fish farmer, it will affect the growth of your fish. So you must be sure that you are buying your fingerlings, your catfish fingerlings from a reputable farmer. So that when you stock, you will get desired results. So that's for you to dig a pond, depending on the size of the pond. I know in Akure, 40 by 60, I can't remember the dimensions, between 50 and 80,000 naira to dig one pond. But if you are using the concrete tank, the storage tank, I think there's a particular tank that they sell in the market that's mainly for catfish. It's around one big, I think it's about 150,000, if it's not more than that by now. Then we always has liter. Some of them is maybe 1,500 liters. So for you to know the number of fish to stock in your storage tank, just allocate just calculate that 4 liters of water will raise one fish. 4 liters of water will raise one fish. So you just divide 4 by 50. If the liter, the capacity of the tank is 1,500, just divided by 4. That's, the amount of fish that you're going to stock there. So your major expenses will be the house for your fish, which can be natural or the mobile ponds I've mentioned. Then your fish. Juvenile is the last one we bought it 100 naira. So between 60, 70, 80, depending on the size of the fish. So if I'm buying 500 fish, I know that if I buy it 100 naira, that's 50,000 naira. The tank is about 150,000. and all the other, then you buy feed. Starter, Copens is usually more expensive. That's the one is the MM has 1.5 mm is about 42,000 naira. So you can just see if you are raising small feed, just buy in kg. As you are buying, you are feeding them, and because they eat at different.
Hello, ma. Okay, someone asked for her contact. So I've put her number on the chat box already, Mrs. Olatoye, but I would still read out her contact. Her phone number is 0805 206 9264. I'll take that again. 0805.
From 0 to 1 month.
Oh, okay. Hello, ma. Hello, Mr. Olatoye. Okay, I think her network is giving issues again. So let me just quickly take the number once again. Her name is Mrs. Olatoye. 080. Oh, I'm sorry. Oluwatomi Olatoye. Sorry about that. 0805 2069 264. So you can call her or chat her on our WhatsApp. Okay, ma. So you can go on, please. We didn't hear you for a while, so that's why I just started to take your details. So you can go on, please.
Okay. So it depends. So the real you need to spend a lot of money on feed. Like I said, I have projection for 1,000 feed here. If you have 1,000 catfish, if you are raising 1,000 catfish for 4 months, you need about 60 to 65 bags to raise them to 1 kg within 4 months. And I will just calculate with them maybe average of the fish price, maybe about, let's do 30,000. So if I'm raising 1,000 catfish and I need 60 bags and a bag costs 30,000, that means for me to feed my 1,000 fish to 1 kg in 4 months, I need 60 times 30,000.
Wow.
Can you help me with that? This is 18.
See.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means I need 1.8 million.
1.8 million. Yeah.
Yes. So if I'm selling the 1,000, let's assume that at the end of the day, I have 900 kg. 900. Please, can somebody help me with that? 900 kg times 2,700.
2,700.
Yes.
7 times 9 is 3, 6, 18, 21, 22, 23, 24. 2,700 multiplied by what, ma? By 9?
900.
Wow. One, two, three. That's 2.43.
2.43.
Yes.
Can see that the margin is so we will now say let's deduct 2.43 from 1.8.
That's like 5
or 500.
600,000.
Yes, 600,000 or thereabout. Yes.
So you have an idea of how much you are spending, how much you are making. So your profit is like 500, 600. You know, we didn't consider other costs. Cost of course, those ones they are fixed costs. Once I dig a pond, I don't need to dig a pond every 4 months. Once I have a staff, I don't need to hire staff, you know. So you are left is 600. But if you are able to supplement, your profits can increase.
Okay.
But from day one, you have an idea of the cost of feed. You have an idea. So I always tell people, okay, if you have cost for 1,000, that means half of this, that's what I'll spend on 500. But the beauty of this is when you are spending, you are not spending all the money it's a spread, it's 4 months spread. So you might not even feel it. The 1.8, you are not spending it in one day.
Yeah.
If you have money to buy 10 bags, you buy it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma. Mrs. Kafaru. Kafaru, yes. Do you have a question, ma?
That your income comes in one day.
Oh.
Because nobody sells catfish on credit. So if I'm selling my 900 kg, I'm selling it in one day and I'm taking my money that day. So if I don't have money and 2.4 million comes to my account that day, that money is tangible to do tangible things. That's why catfish is sweet. Because the money will come in bulk and you can use it to do tangible things if you don't want to plow the money back. But the cost implication is like this. But when it comes to tilapia, there's no structured market for tilapia yet in Nigeria. The only way we can enjoy tilapia is when we freeze tilapia. That's value addition. You know, the same way the poultry farmers, when they process their chicken, they call it blast. They will blast it. It will freeze immediately. So even if you are not selling it for 6 months, you still have your chicken. If we have that facility for tilapia, I'm saying this because I know that some people can invest in that. If we have such cooling facility for tilapia, we'll gain more because tilapia per kilo is 3,800. And tilapia can give you that. If you want tilapia in 10 months, if you feed your tilapia well, you can achieve that. Can achieve 3,800 per tilapia. But because tilapia are very fragile, when you harvest them within 1 hour, if you don't dispose them, you lose them. That's why the market is not structured and the market is not predictable. But we can always play around it. In Akure, what I am doing, because in my community we are about 3 farmers there. So what we are planning, anytime we want to harvest tilapia, we have some Alausa guys in Alagbaka that sells tilapia. So we just call them. We just call them. As we harvest. Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, we just harvest them and sell to them directly. So, but there are still challenges in selling tilapia, but we can overcome it over time. I know there's a guy in Ibadan. He has a tilapia farm and he harvests the tilapia and put them in the freezer immediately. And he's making his money. Cool. So we can also do that.
Okay, there's someone that said, can you please send us the necessary requirements for a starter in writing?
Later during the week.
Yes, I was about to say that maybe you would just send us, all the requirements and everything. So we'll post it on our retirees platform. Mrs. Madam Olaide, yes, you're the one that asked that. So we'll post it on the platform. So do we have any other questions? This has really been an eye-opener. At least now we have alternative fish feeds apart from the expensive one, the 30,000 naira per bag. So we'll
and
just
let us also remember that those alternatives are business on their own. So you can decide not to do fish farming and do
farming, yeah.
Yes.
So is there a high demand for the BSF, like you said?
Yes, people all over. There's no BSF farmer that can meet the demand of BSF.
Wow.
I see. They can't.
Okay, there's one more question, please. If we use the local pond, how can one preserve the pond water to make it clear and clean?
if you use the natural pond, water comes in every day. No water comes in from the underground every day. So during the rainy season, your water, I think your water quality is all about oxygen. Once the water comes in regularly, it means there's oxygen in the water, and you don't overfeed your fish, you won't have issue. But if you don't have water, okay, let me tell you what I'm doing on my farm. During the dry season, we always have water issue because the stream, the water flow in the stream will not be high again. So we are decided, we planned, last year it wasn't like that. So what we do, we pump water from one pond to another. In a situation where you don't have such luxury of pumping from one pond to the other, in a natural pond, water comes in from the rainfall. But during the dry season, there might be challenges. You might need to reduce the population of your fish. But in the natural pond, there's nothing you can do. It's either you go and buy, you bring water from outside. Because your water source is from the underground. I don't know whether you are getting me. Water is coming in naturally. You don't have control over it. So if water is not coming in naturally as you want, you might need to pump water from a nearby stream and add it to your pond. If there are some ponds that dries during the dry season, so such pond you can't use it around the year. There are some ponds, natural pond that cannot use around the year. So if you are a starter, we always encourage, if you are using a natural pond, start your farm during the dry season, so you know the water level of that place. But if you are using tank, you just change water normally in the house. You create an outlet, you turn on the tap, you allow the water to flow out, and you pump in another water.
Okay. Urban Agric, I've been trying to tell her to start the video. So I don't know, maybe you can contact her or him. Urban Agric School.
Okay. I thought okay, maybe some videos of that.
Yes, if
Maybe
we can just take
we
like
should-
some 2-3 minutes for that, if it's still possible.
Okay. I'll reach out to Anna.
Okay,
Okay.
there's a question. The man, Fisayo, I don't know if it's a man or a woman. Sorry. This borehole question has not been answered, please.
Okay. What's the question, ma?
That can borehole water be used?
Are you saying
I think, yes, it's in the chat.
okay? Your water quality will also affect your fish. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. You might have to do water analysis. If you are going commercial, you must do, when you are going commercial, it's business. So you must take care of everything. But if you are using tap water, there's some tap water or borehole that has a lot of chlorine. What you do is you fetch the water and leave it for 24 hours for the chlorine to escape. Then you can use the water. If you don't want to spend so much money doing that. There are some water that is hard. I remember I visited a farm in Agege before. The man had invested so much money on archery, invested so much on the concrete tank, and he was not getting desired results. So many consultants visited the place, they couldn't solve the problem. When we went there, I went there with my own team. When we got there, we asked him whether he has tested the water quality. He said he has tested. He said, can we test it again? We realized that the iron content in the water was so high and it was affecting the fish. So if it's commercial, you have to know your water. You must know your water. But if it's on a small scale, what you do is just fetch the water, put them in a big container, leave it for 24 to 48 hours before you use it for your fish. But in our house here, we are using the water, borehole water, and it's not disturbing the fish.
The pond water question, there's an addendum to it. Will the pond water not mix with mud?
It's coming from mud. So it's already mud water.
Muddy. Oh, okay.
So it's coming from the same space. You can't separate the mud from the water.
So it won't affect the fish if the mud is.
Because by the time before you put your fish, you have already demud the pond. You're already taking care of the mud in there, especially when you are reusing a pond. The first thing you have to do is take care of the pond, the mud. So it won't affect them.
Okay. But the clear and clean water is going. Okay. It's now 11:45. Wow. I'm very sure.
Sorry, excuse me, please.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
How do you treat those waters with large content of iron?
Really, it's chemists, the people, they are professionals that handles water. So I might not be able to, but for that particular pond in Agege, they treated it, but it didn't work. So they might have to abandon the place. There are some areas that you cannot use for fish pond though, because there's no way you can treat, like if you are using a natural pond and the iron content is high, and you have tried Orishi and it didn't go down, it means that it can't work.
Oh,
But
okay.
don't let that be a bad. Don't put it in the head that there is iron. It's all on, maybe out of 100 fish pond, maybe you see 2 or 3 that are having that issue. It's not an issue that is so common.
Okay. Thank you, Ma. Any other question? This Samsung SM, I don't know, maybe it was a mistake that your hand has been raised for a while, but anyway, thank you. Would someone please volunteer to appreciate our wonderful facilitator,
Thank you.
Mr. Samson Ajibade? You are still unmuted, so would you please kindly appreciate our facilitator? Thank you, sir.
Well, I want to express appreciation to the head of service for sustaining this program, the PAMSEC and the directorate, that is the post-service department.
Yes, sir.
And also all participants on board. But especially, I must appreciate on behalf of all participants, appreciate the facilitator for a job well done. Some of us were into fish farming. We are into it. And that was why I asked that question concerning, especially as it affects hatching of the fishes. So it affected my hatching process because it's full of iron. So we are still on that, looking for other sources. So I want to appreciate you, and I want to believe that the plans you mentioned, some of us will also be very much interested, since it can feed poultry and piggery and whatever. So we'll be making contact with you thereafter. So it's very, very educative and very inspiring. I want to believe some of us who are looking for what to do. At the back of your house there, you can start any little business in fish farming. So facilitator, thank you very much, Mrs. Olatoye.
Thank you, sir.
Very much. You have gained a lot, and you have impacted a lot of us who are into the business, and it's going to improve the process of our business. So I want to say thank you. Some of us will be contacting you after this lecture.
Okay, sir.
For the enlightenment. So thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ajibade. Thank you. I appreciate you. Mrs. Oluwatomi, thank you once again.
Thank you, ma. Thank you.
This is really an eye-opener. Thank you so very much. And I'm sure when we call you, you would of course,
Yes,
obliged. You would
yes,
always be there for us. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you,
yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Okay.
So everyone, thank you once again for your presence, for attending webinar. We look forward to seeing you again in another 2 weeks by the grace of God. We'll talk about health issues. So as we usually do, let's all unmute ourselves and say hello to one another.
Good
Good morning, good morning,
Hi.
good morning.
morning. Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. God
Good
bless you
Good
guys.
morning.
morning. Thank you
Good
for
morning,
being.
all.
Faborile,
Ẹ kú ọjọ́ mẹ́ta o.
Mr. Keushola,
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
how are you?
God bless
Mo
you.
wà o.
Olatoye.
Amen,
Mi
sir.
rò pé wàá
Ẹ̀yin
lu
kọ́
o,
o.
àríyìn o.
Ẹ má
Thank
bínú,
you
iṣẹ́ ló
so
sọmọ
much.
nù bí òkò.
Kó yá sọmọ padà o.
Ẹ lágbára lọ.
Ẹ pẹ̀lẹ́ bá
Ẹ
alájà
jẹ́
Thank you very much. Thank
ó
you.
wà
I
ó wà
appreciate
wàdà
you.
ọkọ mẹ́rin ẹ kú palẹ̀ mọ́.
ó jàre.
Ẹ pẹ̀lẹ́.
Ìyá Belinda. Ìyá Belinda ti sá lọ.
Good morning, Mr. Adesanya. Iyabo.
Ajay.
Okay.
Ajay Tumobi, how are you?
No.
Good morning, please. Can we get is this program being recorded? Can we get the recording?
Oh, yes, it is, ma'am. On YouTube. So we'll post the edited video on the retirees platform.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Look forward to
Yes,
seeing you in 2
Yes,
weeks.
ma'am. How do we locate it on the YouTube? Is it the PSO office or what?
Yeah, we'll send the link. You just go
Okay.
to YouTube. It's public service. I don't have it at the top of my
Public
head, but we'll
service.
send the link.
It's okay.
We'll send the link.
Very, very educative. New knowledge gained. Thank you very much for this beautiful.
You're very welcome, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right.
Shima.
Thank you, everyone.
Any
Have
nice
a
week.
wonderful week.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Okay.
God bless
All right. Bye, everyone. God bless
God
you.
bless.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Thank you, everyone.